Hello. Hopefully you hear me. Let me know if you hear me. Jax West, Stephen Avery Project, Justice with Jax, and MAM Gossip. This video today is to talk about one of the cases I advocate for, which is Marni Yang. We went to court today for Marni. This was a scheduled hearing where the state, hello, Carol, Ann, and Christy, pretty in pink, thank you. The state wants to question the validity of the experts that Marni's team has, and they also want to see some swabs that Marni's team has, because today was basically tit for tat. Marni's lawyer, Jed, there's things that he wants, so then the state says, here's what we want. And hello, Deborah and Kat. I took notes during the hearing today, so I'll just read through my notes. The hearing itself was really fast and really quick. Hello, Elizabeth. Well, once it got to the hearing part, it was really quick. So everything's always scheduled to start at 9, yet 9 a.m. isn't when things happen. So the judge didn't even come into the courtroom until 9:30. And both Jed, Marni's lawyer, and the state's lawyer, they had another case that they had to go do an arraignment on, a murder case that Jed just got, some daycare case. Hello, Lambert Land. So since they were waiting for this judge, then they went to go do their arraignment. Hello, Julie, which then caused it to, the state finally came to the courtroom at 9:48. And then we were waiting for Jed, and the judge did not look happy for the extra wait time. And Jed got there at 9:52. And then court actually began at 9:55. Jed said that he wants to subpoena 6 people that would help advance our efforts to obtain additional evidence. He says the state has evidence that Marni's team has not been able to see. They want the fingerprints run through APHIS. That is the program that only the police and the state has access to, because there's a fingerprint found on the doorknob of Ronnie Ryder's home that is not Ronnie's, is not Marni's, and isn't anybody that's affiliated with Ronnie. So want to know whose fingerprint that is on the doorknob. And the police were excluded from that fingerprint on the doorknob. The state then wants time to respond to these things. So then they had to go back and forth on what everybody's schedules are. So now there will be things submitted on February 5th and February 12th, where, you'll have the state do this and then Jed does that. And then we had a court date scheduled for February 20th, but now because of all this, they're pushing the court date back. So it will now be February 27th, which sucks. Hello, Carol. Hello, Deborah. Yep, that's there's a ghost behind me. It's one of my dogs. And hello, Samantha and Carrie. So Marni's hearing, the one that I'll go to, because these other dates they have of February 5th and February 12th, that's just stuff that the state and Jed are going to be doing, so that's not a hearing that we go to. So this means Marni is the 27th and Melissa is the 28th, which is crazy to have those two back to back. Now, they're not in the next courtroom or in the same courthouse, because Melissa is at the federal level. So her hearing will be in Chicago, while Marni's case is in Waukegan. But it's just both these cases back to back that are both from the same county and both due to corruption in that county. I mean, that's going to be a big 1-2 punch that we've got Marni and Melissa back to back. That's going to be kind of intense there. Sorry, my finger's hurting right here. Now I can't read my writing. Oh, so the people had so the state had a motion for discovery that on the DNA test of that stupid bracelet. So there's this really ugly MedicAlert bracelet. Sorry if anybody has that MedicAlert bracelet, but it's ugly. And I don't see Ronnie Ryder wearing that thing. So it's just a MedicAlert thing, and it says, "I'm pregnant." And then it has pearls going around it. I don't know if those are real pearls or what they are. I don't know. But the thing is gaudy. And so this bracelet, they claim that Marni took as, I don't know, a keepsake. I don't know. And then Christy Passion, that's the woman who did the wore the wire. She claimed that she and Marni had gone someplace and they buried a clip from the gun. And so the police had gone, they never found anything like that. But then 17 months later, they go there and they find this MedicAlert bracelet that's so allegedly would have had to have been there for 17 months, going through snow and rain. This is Chicago area. It's not rusted, nothing. It looks just fine right there. Nobody in Ronnie's family or friends have ever seen this on her or know anything about it. Well, there's DNA on that bracelet, and the defense wants to see the DNA swabs that Marni's team has, because they're claiming that they think that there will be Marni DNA on it. So, I mean, I'm not a smart person, but wouldn't the state have swabs from that too? I should have asked Tammy that. I don't know if Tammy will come on here or not. I don't know if she goes on YouTube right now. Because Tammy's in a hotel. But wouldn't the state have their own swab of that bracelet? Plus, wouldn't they have the bracelet? So why do they need the defense's swab? Now, I understand that there's not a whole lot of DNA on it, so it's one of that thing that makes it hard to test, but it's like, wouldn't they have their own sample? And aren't they supposed to keep that in evidence forever, just like we've learned in Stephen's case? I'm confused by that. Oh, something I have in notes that I want to point out. So the guy for the state, he looks like a little boy. He's not a tall guy. He's also in like the Coast Guard reserves. That's why this hearing was supposed to be last week, but got pushed back to this week because he was on active duty or whatever. But the whole time he's standing there in front of the judge, he's like rocking back and forth. It's it looks like the guy is nervous and intimidated. So I made a note of that because I just found it odd, because it wasn't moving back and forth because like I have ADHD and I can't sit still or something like that. He looked nervous. Did I write anything on the second page? Oh, this is a big deal. Now, remember, we've said that there is male DNA that was found on the bullets or the casings or whatever. The state claims they think they know who that is, but they need their own swab of it. And court was done at 10:01 p.m. If you think you know who's, I'm not understanding how you think you know. Why wouldn't they know? They have all the evidence. They have everything. So, and if you know, how come Team Marni hasn't been told who is allegedly on this? Now, I know who they said today that they think that is. I don't know if I'm allowed to say. Damn it, that's why I need Tammy on these things, because Tammy knows, can tell me what can be said and what can't. So I won't say who they suspect it is, but it's just all confusing to me. Hello, Natasha. And Becky, if I didn't say hello to you already. And Christy. Christy says, I'm sure they think the DNA is from a police officer. Remember how sloppy they were touching things without gloves, dropping keys, etc. Well, in Christy, I talked about that too, because every case I do, I then have to bring up, well, in Stephen's case, I'm like a broken record when I say that. In Stephen's case, they had his car next to the victim's car, and the guy was in Stephen's car, didn't take his gloves off, and then lifted the hood latch. So you've got that transference there. Things are just very, very suspect. Becky says, sounds like stalling tactics to me. What was the judge's reaction? The judge seemed fine. This judge, when we were at the hearing a month ago, he's the one, and this is again why I don't understand our judicial system, because what the judge said last hearing is he believes that Marni's case has merit and deserves to be heard. So now one of the, the next hearing or the date or the next court date or whatever you want to call it, but it's not something that we attend, the state will ask for a dismissal. Well, how can the state ask for a dismissal if the judge just said it has merit and deserves to be heard? This bothers me so much of our judicial system, that evidence, by Carol Ann, that evidence can be covered up. So I don't like when people go, well, this was decided, a jury decided this. The jury doesn't have all the facts. I don't understand why things associated with the case does not come in. I know you're going to fight because I don't want this to go in because it's going to look bad on my client, but it should be too bad. Stuff's got to go in. That is evidence. Yeah, and Deborah saying, yeah, the key they found after the fifth search. Right. Well, and that's something else I mentioned, because I'm suspicious always now of DNA. And so I told them again, well, in Stephen's case, they took a groin swab. No reason to take a groin swab, and then was called out on it. And then one of the douchebag investigators, Wiegert or Fassbender, right? Said, oh, yeah, I'll throw this out. And he didn't. So what have they used that groin swab to transfer Stephen's DNA onto? So in Lake County, where this case comes from, is the most corrupt place ever. So I'm not going to trust anything DNA that comes from them. I'm not going to trust any alleged experts that they have. Nothing. Can't be trusted. I'm sorry. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And there are so many cases from Lake County that people have already been freed. And now we're going to have back to back on the 27th and the 28th, Marni and Melissa, both out of Lake County. Hello, Mary. And my kids are brats. And thank you for people saying looking good. I tried again to, do my hair a little bit and put on some makeup since I was going into court. I do have so there was a press conference after the hearing. I tried to get as close as I could because I know last time I did it, I was a little farther away and people said they had a hard time hearing. So I don't know how easy it is for you to hear. So at the press conference, we had Marni's lawyer, Jed Stone, spoke, as well as Steve Lapino, one of the lead investigators. And Steve's hilarious. And I remember being on a visit with Marni, and Steve was going to come down to visit her for the first time. And I'm like, Marni, Steve's going to be so what you need because he's so funny. He's going to take your mind off of it. He's a guy that just says things like he sees it. He's a great guy. So Steve spoke a little bit, and then one of the reporters wanted to talk to Marni's dad and ask Marni's dad how Marni is doing. It makes you go, well, if you think she's guilty, would people care how Marni was doing? So, hoping maybe the tides have turned some because everything that's been out there prior to the filing her brief in October was that Marni is guilty. So, there's just so much to show Marni's innocence. I know I've talked about this before. But for me personally, if there was anything even remotely that said Marni was guilty, I'd be out. I don't get anything out of this. I'm not on salary. Deborah says it keeps freezing for her. Please let me know if it's freezing for others. I'm cold right now. I get nothing out of this other than the personal satisfaction of trying to help somebody who's been wronged. And so if Marni was guilty, what do I care? I'd walk away. I would do that with anybody. It's acting up, but you are still here. Thank you, Twisted, and hello, Twisted. So there's just so much. And, there's other things that haven't been released yet. So there's even more. I was told and actually shown evidence today of something else that could be another huge bombshell that I can't talk about. So even when you see all this stuff that has been released so far, no, there's even more. Just like we say with Kathleen, that she doesn't release everything. You have to keep something back. So there's still more. So, nope, Mary, I see your messages. So it's going to be kind of crazy. Yeah, February is going to be intense because we've got Stephen's hearing is on the 11th, correct? Or is it even a hearing or just I don't know. Somebody tell me. So we've got Stephen on the 11th, and now we have Marni on the 27th and Melissa on the 28th. Yeah. And February is a short month. It's one day longer because we have a leap year this year. So we got 29 days in February. So if anybody who's on here, I see we've got 24 people right now. And Twistin says you can't show all your cards at once. You gotta slow play your hand. Yep. if anybody has any questions on Marni's case, you want to fire at me, or if if you think she's guilty and want to say why you think she's guilty, go ahead. Oh, now it's okay. So the state responds to KZ's filing February 11th. Okay. So, so what we'll do with that is the same thing as always. I'll request to get it. And, which this drives me crazy. When I get the filings, they charge me per page. Like you're printing it out and they're just emailing it to me. It doesn't cost you anything to give it to me. Yet it costs me money. So, depending how long that brief is, I don't think the state's briefs have been really that long. Either I'll buy it right away and then we'll do a live and go over that brief, or if it's too, because sometimes they've told me like this incredible amount for it, and I'm like, nope, I can't pay for that. So then you hope like Kathleen will put it up or somebody else will get it and put it up, and then we'll just grab it from there. Becky says it's my birthday month. Well, happy, well, it's your very merry unbirthday to you right now. You got a few weeks. Becky says, can you remind us about the hire car again, please, Jax? Oh, the rental car. That's what you're asking in Marni's case, Becky. So Marni's car wouldn't work. And so she rented a car. And what the state is claiming is that they have video from a gas station that they're claiming, here, look, there's the car that Marni rented going past here that's near Ronnie Ryder's house. Well, then the WMP Justice Review team actually rented the same car and did their own tests, and it's not the same car at all. It's not. So, and it's very obvious when you look at the pictures because they did everything the same, had a camera from the same point of view where the car was, everything, and it's clear as day it's not the same car. So they wanted to make it out like Marni rented a car to go do that. But no, she rented the car because her car wouldn't work. And the day of the murder, Marni was at home and her boyfriend had picked up a new battery for her car because that was the problem, and had told Marni to take out the old battery because he was just going to stop by, put the new one in. So Marni had been outside, either in the garage and driveway, I don't know which. And so she used the pay-as-you-go phone that she had to try and call her son, Andrew, who was home from school sick. Andrew didn't know who was calling, so he didn't answer. But there are phone records of those calls being made. Marni was home at that time. My kids are brats says, I think she is innocent and can't wait till Shaun has to come back to the States and demand answers. Well, we got the Super Bowl coming up right around the corner. I know he fled to the UK, but I wonder if he comes back for the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl's in Miami this year. So I wonder if he'll be here. But so far, every time press has reached out to him, no answer, no return calls. He's not talking to anyone. And they try to reach out to his lawyer too, whom is a female who allegedly Shaun has also had sex with. She doesn't return anything either. So nobody's hearing anything from Shaun. So I just think it's curious. Isn't it weird that, we talked about this yesterday. I did a live yesterday, right? He's a god here. And you leave the country. That's just weird to me. Julie says she didn't even rent the car till later after the shooting. Harriet says, hey, are you allowed to say who you think killed Ronnie Ryder? It's going to be just between me and you, Harriet. Okay. I believe Shaun Gayle hired somebody to get rid of this chick who is pregnant with his baby that he didn't want. That's what I think. Becky says he's not talking here in the UK. And Twisted said, gee, I wonder why. Where is he specifically? And like, is he on TV regularly, or, what's his deal over there? And then I've also heard he might be married with kids. And it's like, so is that a real marriage, or did he just do it to try and say, oh no, I did always want a family? So, hey, UK people, get investigating. Go find out for me. Is he really married? Does he have children? Is he cheating on his wife? Is there anything in the rags there? Something. Christy says, also, she rented the car for a job per the request of the guy at the photo shoot. The man returned the rental car to Enterprise the morning of the murder, far from Marni's home. Correct. So Marni did some modeling. And so this car was rented for a photo shoot. Now, Marni also, her car wasn't working, but then she left the car with the photographer to drop off. So that car wasn't even in Marni's possession. Twisted said if he was innocent, you'd think he'd be shouting it from the rooftops. You would think, but also let's go back to never trusting the police and never wanting to say anything to anybody. And he's also black, even though, he's a famous Chicago Bear. So much like O.J. Simpson, you don't get treated like other black people because you're famous. Becky says London, I believe. Sky Sports commentator, I think. Twisted said, that's what I have suspected all along, Jax, especially after I found out he'd made her have abortions before this pregnancy. Yes, she had 2, and then she hid her pregnancy from him, so she didn't have to abort. And that's another reason, too, where I'm like, where's this pregnancy alert bracelet coming from? And would she be well, first of all, the thing is ugly. I don't mean to offend anybody if you like it, but I'm sorry, it's ugly. And when you look at the crime scene photos, Ronnie didn't have any jewelry on. So I'm also curious on where would this MedicAlert bracelet be? Are you trying to say she was wearing it and then Marni took it off her? But also, if you see, I don't know what this is, somebody complaining to Stephen Avery Project about the moderators or something. But if you see the crime scene photos and you see the blood that's around her, you see that her hands are in blood, so her wrists would be in blood. Yet there's nothing of somebody going to take this bracelet off. And now I've never looked really at the clasp, but I'm wondering how difficult the clasp is, because I know so many times in bracelets, it's like, oh my God, this thing's such a pain. Here, can you put this on me? Because I can't get this on. So, because there's no evidence of Marni being in that apartment, that condo. So where was this alleged bracelet? And if she took it off of Ronnie, why isn't there any? There was a lot of blood on the floor. How are you going to get to her to take that bracelet off? Or are you going to say she took the bracelet off her before she shot her? Because also this thing happened. The person was in and out in 5-7 minutes. So how are you going to fire off however many rounds that was? Because I don't do numbers, but you basically emptied the clip and get this bracelet off. And Marni, when she was just guessing around and claiming the things she did, one of the things she said is her legs were outside the door and I kicked her legs, which there's no evidence that the woman had been kicked. And also where she is in the kitchen, her legs wouldn't have been out the door. So that's again because Marni was doing what Brendan did. What'd you do to her head, Brendan? Punched her. What else? Cut her hair. Cut her throat. And so that was Marni. But Marni is smarter. And so when they have her sit in a room for hours and they have all these crime scene photos and stuff out there, she just came up with a story, but her story doesn't match the photos. Let me see if you guys have anything. Snooze, hello Snooze, says, I found him on Star Now, extra site, not seen him on TV in UK. Yeah, reminds of OJ case. Carrie says, could it have come from the killer? Elizabeth says, no disrespect to Ronnie. Did she have other partners? Was it definitely his baby? It was definitely his baby. It was tested after the fact. It was definitely his baby. And I don't know if she had any other partners. She had been with other Chicago Bears, his teammates before she got to Shaun. But I don't know anything about her personal life, really, like we've done that we know about Teresa's. So I haven't heard anything like that. So I don't get the impression that she was dating anybody else. I think she was in love with Shaun and wanted Shaun. So, and it was Shaun's baby. Do we know it is hers? The bracelet? No, there's no proof it's hers. It's very odd. Twisted says, why was there a MedicAlert bracelet for pregnancy? Usually they only issued because of serious health issues. Yeah, and all it says is I'm pregnant. So, and I haven't heard anybody say like it was a high risk pregnancy, and she did hide her pregnancy forever. I mean, so maybe you would go, well, she didn't look pregnant and she wanted to make sure people knew she was. But it's a gaudy thing, and I don't, and especially with the way Shaun behaved about not wanting this baby, she's not going to wear something saying I'm pregnant because it would just piss Shaun off. Carrie says maybe it was yanked off. It's not broken, so if you yanked it off, it would have to be broken, because it clips. It's got the fake pearls and it clips, so it wouldn't be big enough that you could slide it off, pull it off the hand. You would have to break it and the pearls would, I don't know if they're real pearls, like I said, but the pearl things would go everywhere. Lynn says you can buy medical alerts for many reasons. Yeah. I just find it, I haven't heard that it was a high risk pregnancy or anything. So, and even if you're excited, just because you're pregnant or whatever, I don't see somebody, I got to wear this medical alert bracelet. Rate my pregnancy. It's just an odd thing, but it's found, so they had been to that place before because they're looking for the alleged clip from the gun that Christy Passion said was there and didn't find. And then when they go back, it's 17 months after the crime. And there's the bracelet. Nobody mentioned a bracelet before. Nobody's talked about a bracelet. But now they find this MedicAlert bracelet that says I'm pregnant. And they're like, aha, since Christy Passion sent us here, this is going to be from Marni. Marni took it. So why would Marni take it to just toss it somewhere? That makes no sense. And Marni's not an idiot. So it's like, let's just take more evidence that can whatever. So no, it doesn't make sense. Carrie says, how long before she was killed did Shaun know she was pregnant? I don't know the exact timing when Shaun was told. I don't recall that. Christy says, was it Christy Passion who pointed them to the bracelet's location? Yes. So crazy. It laid outside for 17 months on top of soil. Sorry. with no wear and tear and no DNA of Ronnie. No way it was Ronnie's. Right, Christy. And that's the state is claiming today that they think there is that there was Marni DNA on that bracelet. So they want Ronnie's team swab of the bracelet because they think that will prove that Marni's DNA was on it. But it's like, so, but why would Marni's team then would talk about this bracelet or anything if they had evidence that there was Marni DNA on it? And we also, Tammy and I, Marni called Tammy's phone. Tammy and I went to lunch. Tammy is the founder of the WMP Justice Review. WMP stands for Words Matter Publishing. That's the publishing house she started. And then she branched off into WMP Justice Review. So it's Tammy who has been working relentlessly on Marni's case for the last 3 years, putting this all together. And so Marni called Tammy. And so Tammy and I sat in her car and talked with Marni for the 20 minutes that she's allowed to. And so when she's talked to about this bracelet and that, you know, they want to look at this DNA or whatever, Marni's like, yep, do it. You know, so just the thing people like Kathleen Zellner will say about Steven and stuff, she's like, yep, do it. You know, she didn't hesitate, nothing. But then it's Tammy and I being the big paranoid person. You know, a friend of mine said, just saw you in the news. You looked sharp. Okay. What was I saying now? Help me. What was I saying now? Oh, that it's Tammy and I both being all, okay, but what if they use a groin swab? I mean, Tammy didn't say that, but that's constantly in my head. Groin swab, they're going to wipe some DNA on this bracelet now and say, see, Marni's DNA's on there. I don't trust a single thing. It magically appeared. Yep, Kat. Just like the magic key. I wonder if Lenk came down to Deerfield, Illinois. Christy says, never mind, Jax. You just answered me. Elizabeth said, you buy the bracelets. Can it be proven she bought one? Well, Tammy, like I said, is relentless. So, and the investigative team, Steve and Perry, the two lead investigators, they're amazing. So yeah, they have who made this bracelet did not go out to many people, and that's all being looked into. Christy says, no one who knew Ronnie said she had such a bracelet. Yeah, nobody saw that bracelet. And if you're wearing a MedicAlert bracelet, it like never comes off, right? It's very weird. Carrie says, why? Did they plant it on there? Right? Don't know. Twisted says, usually a drugstore and you have them engraved for your specific condition information. Let me see. Let me see. Talk amongst yourselves while I try and find this on my phone. WMP. Photos. There's got to be a photo of the bracelet somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be in here readily available to me. Shoot, it's not there. Unless I missed it. Why isn't it in here? It's not here. Sorry. We'll find it at some point and show it to you. Or if somebody else out there right now finds it and Facebook messages it to me, I'll be able to get it on my phone and hold it up here and share with the class. Julie says, unless diabetic, most women who are pregnant would not wear a MedicAlert bracelet. Yeah, there's no reason for her to be wearing it. That all it says is pregnant. And I said it's ugly. And she was going to the gym. So do you wear pearls and that metal thing to go work out? Carrie says, I tried looking some up, but I didn't see anything that I'm pregnant on it. And hello, Heather. Lynn says, copy and paste what is above, and that is the news article from today. Lynn, if you posted a link, they don't let anybody other than the person whose YouTube channel this is post a link. So you would have to Facebook message it to me, and then I can post a link. Let me open on my other screen here, a Facebook page. So if you want to message that to me, then I'll share the link. Elizabeth says, yes, Julie, I was thinking if epileptic or something, you might want one. Yeah, absolutely. If you have something like that, you would wear a MedicAlert bracelet, but just one saying I'm pregnant. Twisted says, exactly, Julie. Or if you have placenta previa where you can hemorrhage, right? There's a million different, high risk pregnancies, but as far as we know, there wasn't. She didn't have a high risk pregnancy. So, and I get being excited you're pregnant, but you don't need to wear a bracelet to go, yay, I'm pregnant. When she's been trying to cover it up and the body doesn't want the kid. So let me see if I Google on my phone, Ronnie Ryder bracelet. Images. No, it's not coming up. I've seen it. Ronnie Ryder Medic bracelet. No, it's not coming up. Well, one of you sleuths find it. It's got to be out there somewhere. I know I've seen it online. Hello, Brenda. Oh, it's the one I posted earlier. Okay, thanks, Lynn. Yeah, I've been posting, because we're slow to get press from today. And I'm sure it's because, as I have on here right on my TV right now and just muted the impeachment hearings. So we did have several press outlets there today, and I'll just keep sharing everything that comes out. It's big for the press now that we're pointing a finger at Shaun Gayle on his alibi, because there is a camera that was near the barbershop that he says is his alibi. So Marni's team would like to see that video. If Shaun was there, let's see it. Twisted says, very strange. She'd go from hiding to wearing a bracelet announcing it, right? And also, if you look at her house, her condo, she's 7 months pregnant. She doesn't have a crib. She worked at Macy's, right? She worked at a store. I'm sure. Now, I don't shop at Macy's. I don't know anything about Macy's, but I'm going to. Yes, they have baby clothes. And right now it says on my thing, unable to connect to chat. Please try again later. So I don't know if anybody can even hear any of this. Oops, typo. Am I still here? Still says there's 22 people here. And that there's 17 thumbs up. Let me... Here. Hold, please. If you're even still there. I'm trying to bring it up on my other page to see if you're still here and that I can see chat on this side, or if I need to end this. And now it's just circling over here. And I have no chat. Okay. I'm trying to bring it up on my other page to see if... Okay, so I can read you on the chat over here, but it doesn't work over the other one. So now I'll be so everybody can see me and hear me. But I have no chat working on the one that's actually filming me. Oh, what fun. Technology. Ugh. So what I was saying before, now the thing came up saying I wasn't on chat any longer, was, you know, we're coming straight at Shaun Gayle right now. Things seem very fishy. So come out wherever you are. Why you hiding, Shaun Gayle? So now we have to wait till February. There'll be a bunch of press coming out. I will post any press that I find will go in Justice with Jax and the MAM gossip group. And I know I had a couple people yesterday that started to complain that the group is getting too much Melissa and Marni in it and it's covering up Steven stuff. Well, MAM gossip can be whatever I want it to be. And we can talk about other cases there. So we're gonna. And so I will continue to post things in MAM gossip, but it'll also be on Justice with Jax. I do not post it in Stephen Avery Project. But in Stephen's case, all we're doing is going over those dumb phone calls. And I like dread going back to them because I just, I'll probably go live tomorrow to do some Stephen calls. That would be during the day though. I have an event I have to go. I have to be there at 5:30 p.m. and it'll be about an hour and a half drive for me to get there to Chicago during that awful time. So it would be early if I get back onto Stephen calls tomorrow. And then I believe Friday I'm completely open, I think. So I can do something on Friday. Let me read your stuff. Julie says, I won't say, oh, that's Julie talking about people, if they're blocking her or not. Becky says, those not in the US, how do you view press posts by Jax? Becky, I post them. They're on the Facebook pages. So we've got the closed group MAM gossip. And then there's Justice with Jax, where I have the public page Justice with Jax. And then there's also the closed group. And I'm also an admin for the WMP Justice Review Facebook page. And I share the stuff there as well. So you get many different places. And, so I post them all there. And then they'll also be on marniyang.com. Elizabeth says, did you say she had no baby stuff in her apartment? She had hardly any. So she's 7 months pregnant with her first child. She doesn't have a crib. She doesn't have, her blanket and mobile. anything on the, and she had the name picked for the baby. Her name was Skylar, so no like Skylar up on a wall, nothing. And that's, I find that odd. Natasha, can't please everyone all the time. Yep. Julie says, we're all just waiting with Stephen's case anyway. That's the way I always look at it. Why can't you hear about another case? Especially if I'm going to talk about Melissa Kaluzinski's case, that's Kathleen Zellner. So you would think Stephen's people might be interested in one of Kathleen's other cases. You think? Which, speaking of Melissa, again, don't forget, she is supposed to, her case is going to be on the Dr. Oz show on the 28th. Lynn says, yay, glad to hear that, Jax. Many more wrongfully convicted needs as much attention. That's you and me, Lynn. And I know Lynn is excellent. She's been around forever in these wrongfully convicted cases. And, so like Carmen Bootwell, well, that's not a wrongfully convicted, but the Carmen Bootwell case that is also from Manitowoc area, Lynn's your go-to on that. You have a question about Carmen Bootwell, you hit up Lynn Johnson. Twisted said, whoop-de-doo, they can get over it or only follow SAP page, right? That's how I feel. Becky says UK is blocked. Oh, UK is blocked from, yeah, so there's lots of times when an article is posted and you can't read it. Hold on. Let's do this. I'm going to the Justice with Jax Facebook page. And I'll pull up one of the articles that I posted this. But not the Tribune one because I can't read it. Because I'm blocked from that one. All right, I'll read the Daily Herald's one. It says, Marni Yang's defense team looking into Shaun Gayle's alibi. An investigator hired by the defense team for Marni Yang, who was serving 2 life sentences for the 2007 slaying of the pregnant girlfriend of former Chicago Bear Shaun Gayle, said Wednesday he was looking into Gayle's alibi. Yang, 52, was convicted of first-degree murder in 2011 for killing Ronnie Ryder and her unborn child in Deerfield on October 4, 2007. Yang's attorneys are seeking a new trial. Quote, he, Gayle, dated Ronnie for 16 years. We're questioning his alibi. The timeline just does not add up. Unquote. Steve Lapino, a senior investigator with MSI Detective Services, told the media Wednesday morning. An email for comment sent to Donna Rotuno, an attorney who represented Gayle, who allegedly also had sex with him, was not immediately returned. Lapino's comments followed a brief court hearing wherein Yang's defense attorney, Jed Stone, and assistant state's attorney, Jason Humke, traded motions requesting access to evidence. Humke is seeking access to DNA analysis done by Dr. Carl Reich, an expert hired by Yang's defense team. Stone's requests include access to surveillance camera footage from a barbershop where Gayle was a customer. Quote, I want to see the whole range of them to see what evidence is contained there, if any, unquote, Stone said. Quote, we're researching what he claimed to be his alibi and will turn the results of that research over to the prosecutor to let the prosecutor do the right thing, unquote. Stone is also seeking permission to run fingerprints discovered on the front door of Ryder's condo through a national database. That's that AFIS. You hear it anytime you watch a detective show, too. They'll talk about AFIS. He said the state has ruled out the fingerprints belonging to Yang, Ryder, or any of the police officers who worked the case. When Yang was convicted in 2011, evidence against her included secretly recorded conversations between her and a friend, which is Christy Passion, in which Yang can be heard describing the fatal shooting, which we know is also on the recording, where she says, "I'm going to make shit up." The case will be back before Judge Christopher Stride on February 27. So that's the Daily Herald. WGN said, and this came out the last night. Does it say it was updated though? Let me see if it says it was updated. Doesn't say updated, but it does say 8 hours ago. Okay, it is updated because it starts with, lawyers for Marni Yang said Wednesday that new evidence exonerates her in the 2007 murder of Ronnie Ryder, the then girlfriend of former Chicago Bears Shaun Gayle, and called for a new hearing in her case. Ryder was shot 6 times, including 2 bullets to her abdomen, resulting in the death of both her and her unborn child in 2007. Yang had an on-again, off-again relationship of her own with Gayle, and at her trial was portrayed as a scorned girlfriend driven by jealousy. She was convicted of the murder in 2011 and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Private investigator Steve Lupino now says there is new evidence that was allegedly overlooked or ignored by the Lake County Major Crimes Task Force. Those are the corrupt MFers. Quote, "I want the truth on bullets that were found at the scene with male DNA on it. We want the truth on that," unquote, Lupino said. Yang's lawyers go further, alleging investigators framed the mother of 3 for the murder. Shaun Gayle was interviewed by detectives at the time of the murder and cleared, but Yang's attorneys are also challenging his alibi. Michelle Amantorp, a longtime friend of Ryder, has also expressed doubt about Yang's guilt, believing she was wrongfully convicted and that the real killer is still out there. Now, Yang's attorneys said they've uncovered new evidence and have been pushing for a new trial. Last month, a judge ruled Yang's wrongful conviction petition can move forward. Defense lawyer Jed Stone filed motions in court Wednesday seeking to obtain more information and evidence from prosecutors. Quote, "They can look at anything they want, and there isn't a single piece of scientific evidence that leads to Marni Yang," and they spelled Marni wrong, unquote, Stone said. "She had absolutely nothing to do with this crime, and this is like a David and Goliath story," unquote. It'll be up to a Lake County judge whether or not Yang can get a new trial or even exoneration. And that's that whole article. So that's WGN. I read the Daily Herald. Is this a different WGN one, or is this going to be the same one? Yeah, that's the same one. Because they just updated it. And that's all I have posted so far. Oh, I got to go over here because that one doesn't work. To scroll back to what your comments were while I was doing it. Yeah, Becky says Chicago Tribune says website unavailable in most EU countries. Yeah, I can't read it either because the Tribune has a thing like you can only read 2 articles a month and then it blocks it from you. So I posted the Tribune article, but I can't see it either. Twisted says, LOL, for the most of us, we've been on that case for years. Got to have something else to talk about, right? Julie says, maybe send via Messenger. And Natasha says, try using a VPN. Okay, so people talking about trying to see it. Lambert Land, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I do my videos now on YouTube as opposed to Facebook, because people had a hard time finding them later. So yeah, this stays up. So you'll be able, if you're even still on here, you'll be able to come and watch this later. You're welcome, Becky, for reading it. So that's that for today with Marni. Um, this would have been the day that I would have gone down to visit Melissa and Marni, since I go every other Wednesday, but obviously now I went to court. So I should be going next week unless something is going on there. Because I know Melissa had emailed me the other day and said that her building didn't have heat and they moved them to a temporary one, and she was expecting to be back today. So so I'm planning on going there Wednesday next week, but who knows if something will be going on at the prison that they won't allow visits, or with both Marni and Melissa being in the press right now, I don't know if they'll have like in prison uh press something or another, because I know Dr. Oz is supposed to be coming, and he and Kathleen will go to Logan and tape a segment there with Melissa. So, so I'm planning on Wednesday, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. So I'll have to see, what's going on with the girls. Christy says, have you heard any more about the inmate found dead? Yes, I heard, don't know, that she had Crohn's disease, I believe is what I was told. And the prison wasn't doing anything to treat that other than giving her Pepto-Bismol. So, but I don't know, Christy, if that's fact or fiction on there. Heather says, was Marni in court today? No. Oh, sorry that you have Crohn's. My kids are brats. Natasha, okay, Natasha's talking to Becky about trying to watch something. So, and there's, so that Tribune reporter that when Tammy and I did the live together on the Justice Review page last week or whenever it was, the reporter was here and a photographer was here taking pictures of me. This guy has been working on a story for me that's going to go in the Tribune that I won't even be able to read. I guess they'll have to go out and buy an actual paper. But he's been working on it since October. And I messaged him today asking if he had any idea when this thing was going to come out, because I'm very curious on what this is going to be on me. And he told me that he's been battling a bad bout of the flu. And once he's better, he'll finish up the story. So when that happens, I'll let you know. Or maybe I won't if it's going to be a horrible thing saying Jax West steals money from Stephen Avery. Becky has 2 friends with Crohn's. Yeah. Samantha says, Jax, could you please let me know who is the person investigating everything happening in South Africa? I can remember you mentioning it before. That would be Tammy, the founder of the WMP Justice Review. And then she's also got her book publishing house, The Words Matter Publishing. So, Samantha, you can find out all the South Africa stuff on there's the Facebook page, WMP, which stands for Words Matter Publishing, Justice Review. I believe that's where where the Africa stuff is. And I don't know how Tammy does it, because she does just all this phenomenal work on Marni's case. Plus the Justice Review has taken on a couple other cases. And if anybody out there knows anybody that needs a team to look into a case, but that costs money. So, so they don't do it for free. You can reach out to Tammy at the WMP Justice Review, or if you know somebody that would like to donate to a 501c3 organization to help the work that the WMP Justice Review team does, send them Tammy's way. Yeah, Carrie, maybe he can email me a copy, but I figure I'll go buy the paper, and then save it. What I should do, here's what I should do. I should buy a couple copies and frame one and give it to my son, um, because he'll think it's stupid, creepy, and weird. Because the thing, like I have on here for the for the Justice with Jax thing, this thing, somebody I met through my activism sculpted this of me. So you can kind of see, she was doing the tattoos on my arms. There's on my back here, because I have a sun tattoo on my back shoulder. She got that. And so, I have this in this room. My son's like, no, mom, you don't display something of yourself. That's weird. And it's like, I just thought it was so sweet that she did this. So I should buy a copy of the Tribune article on me and frame it and give it to my son. Because I'm that kind of mom that I like to annoy him. Oh, Samantha, you're originally from South Africa and still have family living there. Yes, Samantha. So jump into that. And if there's anything your family can do or you can do, because I don't know how Tammy does with that, but yeah, get on in there. Christy says, if there is a new trial, I wonder if jurors will hear the trajectory argument and think that maybe Ronnie was on her knees, as in fell to her knees when the gun was pointed at her. Well, there's no evidence on her that she fell to her knees, no bruising or anything with her knees. But that trajectory thing, Tammy and I today she was showing me some more of the crime scene photos. And then I was also looking at the autopsy photos today, ones that she didn't publish because they're too gory. And, there is respect for Ronnie's family as well, because just like I say with Teresa Hallback, Ronnie is a victim here. Ronnie is a known victim. There's a body in this case. There's not in Stephen's case. You don't know what happened to Teresa Hallback, but you know what killed Ronnie Ryder. You may not know how it got, who did it to her, but she was killed and how she was killed. And when you see that trajectory, that's just a major point for me on proving Marnie's innocence, because she's a wee little lass, teeny tiny little thing. So, and also her trying to handle the gun and everything. I'm a big girl, way bigger hands, and it was hard for me to slide that thing back. I can't imagine firing over and over again that thing and having to pull that slide back because every other shot's misfiring. She can't do that. This crime only had to have only taken 5 to 7 minutes. Lynn says her dad's photo was in Tribune today. He's small too. Yes, he is. And Marnie's 3 kids are all little. I do not, because Marnie was divorced a long time ago, so I do not know the size of her ex-husband. He was Asian, or is Asian, last name Yang, so I'm going to assume he also was a little guy. Yeah, so her dad, Larry, he's a tiny guy with quiet voice. He's meek looking. Kat says there's no way Marnie could have done it. Shaun being 5 feet 11 inches tall, on the other hand. But I don't think Shaun Gayle did it. I think Shaun Gayle had somebody else do it for him. I do, so that's, people were talking about, have you watched the Aaron Hernandez story that's on Netflix and then it was on ID channel? And so then people compare Aaron Hernandez with Sean Gayle, but I'm like, Sean Gayle hires out to do his dirty work. Aaron Hernandez did it himself. Who does Marni think did it? I never ask her that. We've never talked about that. But she, like Steven, will be just follow the evidence. Christy says, I can't wait to see the video from the barbershop. And then Lynn says, so they have videos from the barbershop. It's like from outside the barbershop. There's a camera outside that's pointed towards the barbershop. So you would be able to see who's coming and going and at what times. So I would like to see that since Shaun said he was there early on a weekday morning. Oh, my kids are Brad says, I hate we can't like comments on YouTube. Hate typing. Yeah. Well, just do it to yourself when you see something you like. So I'll go live if I can tomorrow before I go to my Swinky Gala. Hey, stop. And then Friday, like I said, I don't think I have any plans. So maybe we'll get back to the stupid Steven calls. Lynn says, nice. I want to see that in the list of names that could be associated. Mm-hmm. Julie says, barbershops can have some pretty bad character sometimes. As fans too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially in the Black community. Barbershop or beauty shop. I mean, it's like family there because Black men go and get their hair clipped, like every other week you go there, and it's a big gossip place. They hang out, they gossip, you become like a family there. And lots of things happen at barbershops, and maybe that one in particular. So, and I just don't see him being at a barbershop that early on a weekday when he's somebody that's constantly whoring around. He had 18 girlfriends. So, and he wasn't an athlete anymore. Not that he didn't keep in shape, but I'm sure he didn't have the, workouts like he did when he was playing football. No two-a-days anymore. Twisted says, lots of nefarious people can hang at barbershops. Julie says, every week for fades and shaves. My son was a barber and did mostly Black men cuts. Yeah, there's a place in my town, I think, that's called Fades and Shades. I know I've seen that. Natasha says, 18 women surprised he has time for a haircut. Mm-hmm. So Shaun is shady. There's shady things going on there. Plus, he left the country. So, UK people, I want you to do some snooping. Is he married? Does he have children? What's going on with Sean Gayle now? Inquiring minds want to know. So, all right, I'm going to end this now. Bratz, yeah, Shaun is bald, but you have to go somewhere to get your head shaved for that. He's not bald because all his hair fell out. He's bald by choice. He probably had a receding hairline or whatever, but you still have to go get that done. Heather says he's not even all that. I do think he's attractive, but he ain't all that to me. Becky says there's nothing out there on Google about him here. That might change if a new trial happens. Yeah, and that wouldn't be until summer probably, if there is a new trial. So, But all right, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna go change into pajamas, take my makeup off, and watch TV. But I'll also be scrolling the internet. So I'll be posting any news stuff that I find about Marnie's hearing today. Um, Elizabeth says anything linked to him is about Marnie when I Google. Yeah. Mary says, has anyone heard about fellow law enforcement from Wisconsin, 56 years old? What are you talking about, Mary? Are you talking about the guy that just died? Dennis something or another? I haven't been following that. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go. I need to end this with the thing that I didn't say at the beginning. For all you people who do not watch this live and watch it later, make sure you thumbs up the video so it can be found in search. And if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, because then you'll get a notification. Maybe. I don't think I got a notification today that I went live. I don't see one. So sometimes YouTube will notify you when I'm live, and sometimes it won't. So that's why you need to subscribe. And also I need the 1,000 subscribers so then I can do lives elsewhere. So I can't do a live for the press conference because I have to have the 1,000 subscribers. And that's the big number too, when I could start putting ads on here and stealing all your money. So suppose if you ain't got nothing else. Oh man.